In 1950, as the founders of a newly independent nation drafted their constitution, they established the country's legal identity in Article 1 with 4 specific words: India, that is Bharat. This phrasing is an anomaly in international law, a founding document enshrining 2 distinct, etymologically unrelated names for a single nation. The framers, led by B.R. Ambedkar, reconciled 2 divergent historical identities to create this dual naming convention. Understanding the modern identity of the subcontinent requires reverse engineering both names and tracing them back to their origins. India and Bharat represent 2 halves of a single story, an internal, indigenous evolution and an external, foreign label. In its oldest context, the word Bharat identified a specific group of people rather than a geographic landmass. The Rig Veda, an ancient collection of Sanskrit hymns, documents the Bharat tribe living in the northwestern regions of the subcontinent. Over centuries, oral histories transition the name from a tribal identifier into a legendary figure. Epic texts like the Mahabharata and various Puranas established King Bharat as a unifying sovereign who ruled the entire territory. This concept expanded geographically through Jain and Buddhist literature, alongside the Vishnu Purana, which popularized the term Bharatvarsha. Bharatvarsha grew to represent a continental boundary, defining the known world for the people who inhabited it. This made Bharat the internal cultural soul of the region, defined entirely from within. Looking beyond the borders, the question becomes how the ancient world categorized this subcontinent from the outside. For centuries, the western edge of the land was defined by a specific geographical anchor, the Sindhu River. When the ancient Persians reached this river, the name underwent a linguistic shift as it crossed the border. Persian phonetics shifted the S in Sindhu to an H, creating the word Hindu, which eventually gave rise to the geographic identifiers Hind and Hindustan. The Greeks interacted with the same river, but removed the starting aspirate sound entirely, recording it as Indos. Within the Western lexicon, this Greek term Indos provided the root for the word India. These external interactions at the river border established India as the primary cartographic and political label used by the outside world. These 2 distinct historical timelines were formally unified during the drafting of the 1950 Constitution. By adopting both names, the framers preserved the millennia of indigenous heritage tied to Bharat, while maintaining the international and historical continuity represented by India. This dual identity reflects a history that can only be understood by layering Vedic literature, Greek cartography, and Persian records together. Thousands of years before the first Persian arrived or the first Vedic hymn was composed, a different civilization thrived on this soil. They left behind a language and an identity that remains undeciphered by modern science. In our next episode, we go back to the beginning to explore the Indus Valley Civilization, a world of advanced urban planning and enduring mystery.